IPF have a national champion, and WPC have a national champion, and RPC have a national champion, who's national champion?
Hi, Martin Smith. Welcome to the podcast. How you feeling today, sir?
Old. No, I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. Can't complain.
Like a man. It is nice to have you here, especially with the recent changes with Elite Draw. Can you tell us a little bit? Oh, before we get into that, just do a little 2 minutes on who you are and how'd you get involved in powerlifting?
I've actually been involved in and out of powerlifting for a very long time. Peter Deval moved in next door to me when I was like 16 or 17 years old. And I was parking off one day doing something stupid on the pavement or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he hung over the wall and he said, "Come help me quick." And he was actually busy squatting. I'd never seen a squat or whatever before. And I spotted him doing the squat. And he said, "Well, you've got nothing better to do. You might as well come and train here." And I started training with Peter Deval. And at the time, I didn't know who it was. Like, Jaco Deval was still a baby boy. He was like 5, 6 years old. And I was training with Peter Deval. And we started building squat racks, just carrying on. And then I think I was about 17 or so. He said, "You know what? You might as well compete in a powerlifting contest." Like, well, I got nothing better to do. Yeah. We'll go do that. And at this comp, I actually met Eugene van der Merwe and Charles de Bruin and oaks like that. And had a nice day out. I think I broke a teenager record for a deadlift on that day, but I ended up in like 4th place. But I didn't care because, I had no real ambition to do anything. And Jason Kearns, I'll never forget it. He came to me after the fact and he said to me, "Oh, you only came 4th." I'm like, nobody will ever say that to me again. I only came 4th. Never again. And I've never been lower than like 2nd place ever again. So, yeah, but they carried on with powerlifting and carried on and won some national titles and that kind of thing. And then I tore my groin pretty badly. I was 23 or so. Tore it very, very badly. And then the frustration at not getting healthy, like every time I get to a certain level, it just kind of crashes again. I just gave up, like whatever, man, like whatever. And then I found the delights of motorcycles, booze, and women. And that took me on a detour for some time. And then I think it was like 37 or something. And somebody took a picture of me while I was working in the garden. I thought, no, that can't be what I look like now. I can't. I had these like man boobs and this gut, and I just looked terrible. Like, I just absolutely terrible. And I thought, no, I've got to start training again. And I thought, I thought nothing about powerlifting, like nothing like that. And I started at the gym, and when I had left the sport, I was around the 270, 280 mark with a squat at like 82 body weight, which wasn't bad. Like, and I got to the gym and I was there for about 2 months. No, not even about a month. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to see where my strength level is at. I'm going to take 140 kilos and just, I thought, well, 280, like how bad could it be? That 140 kilos destroyed me. It like absolutely crashed me down like I couldn't believe, and I was just so depressed. And then I went to Deval and I said to him, "Look, dude, I've got a problem. Like, I need to train, but that is just for me so depressing. There's nothing I can do about it." And he said, "You know what? If you want to be back to where you used to be, you know where to go." So then I started training with Deval again, and from there it's just been kind of a roller coaster. And then when I started the sport again, I went to a contest just to go look to see what the sport's by now, because in my time there was no raw lifting. Like, everybody did the single ply, very shitty knee wrap kind of vibe, but I went to a comp and everybody got a medal. And for me, that was just very, very strange. Like, it was really weird, because when I was competing, only best lifter, second best lifter, and third best lifter got a medal. Everybody else got a certificate. Thanks for coming. Try again next time. No? And I just thought, no, we lost the competitive nature of the sport, and it's affecting how good we are as a country. Because back in the day, we were very, very good. Like, there were folks like Jan Ferreira and Ron Collins and Eugene van der Merwe. Gerrit Bartels held the all-time world record for like 2 years. So we had some outstanding powerlifters. Neville Primmy, all these oaks were exceptional powerlifters. Like, you had nationals 75 kilogram lifters. There were 3 guys totaling over 800, and the 75 kilo division. That's insane. And we didn't have that anymore when I came back. And I thought, no, we got to change that. Like, there's got to be space for lifters that just want to do this as a hobby, but there's got to be space for lifters that really want to achieve something with the sport as well. And then, yeah, the rest developed with Dan and with Exco and what we do, and some ups and downs. But yeah, we're getting there piece by piece.
I'm telling you, like the way you started in the sport is about as perfect a start as someone could hope. Like if the first time you ever see a squat and start training is with Peter Duval, that is like you don't get much better than that.
No. He's just, I tell you what, he wasn't the easiest guy to train with. Right? Like, I think I got my first compliment from Peter Duval in 2022, and I started training with him in 1994.
Shame he was more harsh to you than he was to me. I think I got a compliment from him maybe my next meet that I saw him.
No, he was crazy. Like, I go to a comp and I'd be so stoked. Like, I think I was 19 and I won like a best lift at nationals, which is insane because of my age, And he was like, yeah, but your deadlift was rubbish. Like, wow, okay, thanks. I think I'll work on that.
I would respond well to that kind of criticism, because I feel like in any regard, when someone flubs me up a little bit, I don't believe them anyway. I'm like, just tell me what I did poorly so I can improve on that. And I find like I respond better to that kind of criticism anyway.
No, he gave me such a thick skin. Like, the lifters I coach, they often complain about the way I talk to them because I'm so used to. That was how it was dealt to me. And if you're going to have a thin skin about something, like powerlifting is really not for you, because there's nothing in the sport that's comfortable. Like, nothing. There's nothing in the sport I can think of that's got any kind of comfort. So if you take things personally, like, walk on, man, walk on.
I hear you. So I posted on our little status saying that you were coming on the show. So I got a couple questions from some of the guys who are following. So one of the questions I wanted to post to you from then was, what or who drove you to start Badger Athletic, and how did you find your first lifter?
Well, Badger Athletic was originally Dan's brainchild, and he kind of shelved it because, again, lifters and lots of stories over there. But just before COVID, I was running my own business. I did the whole laboratories and built labs and that kind of thing. And then COVID hit and I lost everything, like absolutely everything. The bank came to pick up my stuff, my pension gone, savings gone. I mean, if I didn't own my house, I would have lost that too. And I was a bit on a downward spiral, obviously, as would be.
Yeah.
And I said to Dan, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And he said, well, why don't you coach powerlifting? I mean, you trained with some of the finest lifters in the history of the sport. You must know something. I said, you know what? I never even thought about that. I never even considered it. And then I thought, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But now my problem is I'm not really a people's person. Like, I'm actually kind of a mean old bastard. So how do I go about this? Like, I don't have like your guys' online presence, right? Making fucking beautiful posts and stuff. I don't do that shit. Like, I can't do it. It's not in my nature. And some people came fishing and whatever. And eventually, little Jay Duncan was the very first powerlifter that approached me for coaching. And she's going to be so mortified when I tell the story. But she pitches up at the headquarters, and I look at this girl and I think, I do not know how I'm going to make a powerlifter out of you. Like, she was the smallest, frailest little girl. And I thought, you know what? Like, the universe really hates me. Like, you've taken everything, and this is the first lifter that I've got to work with. But then, I stood in the light and I looked and I thought, but wow, you've actually got a pair of proper, lifting hips. Like, no offense, but I can work with that. And we started training. And the first couple of sessions, I was, again, used to the whole Peter Duval thing. And she was squatting the one day. And I said to her, you squat like a real, the P word, And she started, like, she was really upset. And I'm like, why are you upset? She says, I'm a girl, right? Oh, you are indeed correct. And I started training her. Just started like her development was absolutely insane. We hit her plan like you cannot believe it. From that frail little girl, like she's an absolutely world-class lifter now in little over 2 years. The second lift I got was Arnold Johnson. I actually walked past him in a Virgin Active. He was lying on the floor because he did something. He thought he was training hard. And I walked past him. I don't know this guy from a far side. And I said to him, you know what? If you really want to work, meet me for a session, and we're trying to get in and see how you got. And he met up with me, and it took me. We tried together for 2 weeks before I even learned his name, because obviously, it's just the kind of way I am. But this guy kept coming back, so I thought, well, I might as well get to know you, because you're going to keep coming back anyway. And he stuck it out. He's an absolutely world-class lifter. Like if that guy, neither here nor there, if he would have competed at ER this year, he would have titled 10 times body weight, 100%. Like 100%. I've got no doubt. So,
that is insane.
And that was pretty much my start with Badger. And then when Badger was on the go, I thought, look, I'm not going to use Badger money for personal gain at all. Like originally, obviously you did, because there's nothing else. But I want to use Badger to promote athletes. So all the money that I earn by coaching, I spend on bettering their gym or hosting competitions or doing whatever, moving forward so that my badgers can train with the best of equipment. They can pitch up to comps that is in the best of what we have to offer, the whole nine. And by that, I can develop badger, you know what I mean, by lifting in general, because these badgers will go out and they will promote powerlifting because it's been good for them. So that's pretty much my start with badger.
No, that's pretty cool. But listen, like on that topic before we deviate too much, because you had one question. Let me just find it now. They had a little bit of criticism to that.
I just want to open the garage for somebody wants to train quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Go for it.
Sorry about that, man. Calvin's busy prepping and he wants to train us in calibrated plates. So.
No, all good. So is the Badger gym in your garage?
Well, we've actually got two. In time, yeah, we've used enough money to make two. So there's one by Dan. It's also fully kitted out, monolith, the whole nine.
Nice.
And then I've got one there.
No, lacquer. So like on that, you have a good thing. You have some thick skins. Some of these questions are not the kindest. This one was like the two strong girls he coaches were already strong before he took them over as clients. So clearly, with your Jade story, that's not 100% true.
No, Jade was a ranked beginner. You can actually go on open powerlifting. Then you go to the Pitbull Classic that she competed at. That is when I started coaching. She was absolutely ranked beginner. Danielle was obviously slightly stronger, but we've also added an enormous amount of kilograms to her total. We still adding kilos to her total.
Let's just to have everyone on the same page here. Let's actually open that up. What am I looking for?
Take Jade's original. Yeah, take Jade's Pitbull Classic numbers and compare them to her last Badger Classic numbers.
Because I'm inclined to believe you, because Jade only came to my consciousness in the last year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, she just escalated really quickly.
Let's see. Pitbull Classic total was a 285 versus the 482.5 now. So you added almost 200 kilos to a total. That's that is
67-kilogram girl. I wouldn't say she was just strong when she showed up.
No, listen, a 200 kilo increase for a male lifter would be fucking impressive. Add that to a female lifter, that's I give you props on that one.
Thank you.
So, couple other questions here. Someone's questioning your own lifting prowess. Say he calls himself, he is regarded as one of the best coaches, yet he has such an average total. What's up with that?
I'm 44. How could you want me to be?
Someone's the mean as fuck.
like I'm a fucking old man. I can only be that strong. And not even just saying that. I've never claimed to be the greatest lifter. Not once anywhere have I gone and said, look at my big dick.
No.
Like ever.
Listen, I'm telling you now, as soon as you make the questions anonymous, they get 10 times more brutal than when people's names actually pop up.
I actually, you know what? I don't even give a fuck. If people can ask what they want, it doesn't bother me.
But listen, with the recent changes with Elite Raw, let's give us a little bit of background there. Like, what's going on, and what's the plan moving forward?
The problem, I don't want to get into too much of Dan's reasoning because I don't like speaking for somebody else.
Of course.
But when you deal, let me tell you honestly, when you deal with powerlifters all day long, you cannot understand how self-entitled many lifters are. Right? It's absolutely insane. And everything has to stop because said lifter wants something now. Now, in the first place, people have got this impression that we make this absolute fortune from powerlifting. And now, I mean, like now I'm going to spend that powerlifting money on my cattle and my great farm. It doesn't work that way. I actually spend an enormous amount of money to make this happen, as opposed to gaining a lot. So Dan is in the same boat. He spends an enormous amount of money to get it done. Okay. And then you still got people that aren't happy about it, whatever. And he just got to a point where it's, you know what's enough. He's tried now, and it's just enough. And I just thought, okay, fair enough. You know, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Like, above all, Dan is a good friend. And if hosting comps like that, whatever, is not going to make him happy, then I'd rather he stop. Then we'll take it over ourselves and we'll move forward and we'll carry on, which is exactly what we did. Myself, Danielle, Calvin, and Jens from Draga is going to run with at the end of the year. I think it works out quite nicely because now we can get lifters to qualify through the year as well. It might change the lineup slightly.
Yeah, I've always myself personally, I've always been in favor of Elite Raw being towards the end of the year, because towards the end of the year tends to be a little bit quieter in the season anyway. There's no nationals to worry about. It's the Worlds tends to be in like the last third, so something in that ballpark just afterwards tends to be a really attractive. So if like it builds up throughout the year, the season starts and then ends with a. It's nice to end with a climactic little showdown at the very end, you know.
Fair enough. Oh, definitely. Also, I just want to add to Seth Guy about my lifting progress. Jake White won a World Cup and he wasn't a great rugby player. Just saying.
I've never understood. In fact, that was the exact thought I had when I read the question the first time. I was like, I would take the best athletes in any sport, at one point, and how many of them made great coaches. Like it's very few and far between. It's very like this whole thing of like coaches need to be the best players. I'm like Michael Jordan, probably the greatest basketball of all time. He's not a coach because
no.
In fact, the better the athlete, I would argue, the worse of a coach they probably make. Because if you're a really high level athlete, you probably have a high degree of talent behind that.
And genetics.
So it's like the more naturally talented you are as an athlete, the less you've had to put in the numerous different methods it takes to build yourself up to that level, you know?
Easy as. No, right now for me, lifting is all about health and enjoyment as opposed to any kind of numbers. I mean, I'm heading towards 50, right? My dreams of world records and whatever is wrong.
No, I 100% agree with that. Like with me now, I'm still a lot younger than you are, but I'm giving myself until about 35 or 1,000 kilo total, whichever comes first. Thereafter, like I can't keep revving at this pace. Like my body's not going to make it forever. No. At some point, you need to call it.
No, like I got now about a week or so ago, I posted something, 2 weeks or whatever. I got a 270 squat for reps. Now I probably won't get 100 off it. My body's just said no, it's enough. So now that's why I always weights are low again. It is what it is.
I was telling someone who was watching me at gym, and he's like, "Oh, dude, like the weights you're lifting now are like 100 kilos more than the weights you were lifting like 4 or 5 months ago. And I was like, yo, because like I peak, and I immediately drop back down. I can't, you get some lifters like Nicholas who can hold 95% seemingly throughout the whole year. I touch 100 and I immediately I back down to like 70. I can't hold my peak for long.
He's a genetic anomaly. Like he can get away with things that you cannot do. It's as simple as that.
No,
and I'm not even going to aspire to try and do it.
No, I would break myself. I would break myself doing a bad attempt.
I'd have to go buy a wheelchair. 100%.
Call it done after that. So moving on, I want another question here because we have a few to get to. How do you feel about the current South African politics and powerlifting circles? And like a related one, because they're more or less the same question. Have you ever tried to get WPC and RPC to work together in recent years?
Let me answer your question. Do me a favor. Quickly go into open powerlifting, right? And then you go South Africa or South African lifters.
Yeah.
Or South African lifters. And you scroll all the way down and tell me how much is the number.
How much what?
Scroll to the very bottom. Scroll all the way to the bottom of all South African lifters of all time and tell me how many totals is on.
Okay. Let's have a look-see here quick. All lifters, scroll all the way to the bottom. 1,840.
There's 60 million people in this country. We do not have time for politics, my man. Like, we absolutely do not have time for it. If we take those 1,800 totals and we split it in 3, and now we fight amongst each other, what have we got?
Yeah.
What have we got? So what is the point? What is the point of seeing whose little dung pile is bigger than the others? We've got a niche sport where literally 0.01% of this country compete in it. The neighbor, your neighbor probably doesn't even know what powerlifting is.
No.
But we fight amongst ourselves. So what's the point? So I do not do politics in any way, shape, or form. I don't care. I don't care what federation you support. I don't care where you live. Elite Raw, we invited even IPF members. Okay? I don't care. It's about the sport. I want the sport to grow. I want the betterment of the lifters. Where you do it, up to you. Like, if you're happier at WPC, go lift there. If you're happier at IPF, go do that. Whatever makes you happy. The sport doesn't pay you a salary. It doesn't help you with sponsorship. All it does is fuck up your back and fuck up your wallet. If you want to go do that at WPC, go do that there. It's fine. As long as you lift it. So I don't care. And as for working with WPC, we have sort of never formally broached the topic, but we wanted to do nationals in conjunction. We wanted to have one really big nationals. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Dan and myself got to thinking and said, okay, if IPF have a national champion and WPC have a national champion and RPC have a national champion, who's national champion?
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of, get a national champion to see who's the best. IPF, we probably never will because, I mean, we eat a lot of chicken breasts and they don't. But yeah, it would have been nice. And we got a little bit of resistance. Like, we never really did it formally, but we did try, like, with Arno and so on. And he just, like, you know what? He doesn't know if it's going to work out. And then we just kind of left it there and we kind of, went separate ways. And,
I would love that.
I mean, I'd always be keen for it. Like, again, like I'm saying, I'm not fussed about the federations. I'm fussed about where we're going as lifters. My goal for my athletes is to try and qualify for Ghost Classic or Kern Open, for these kind of things. And the only way we can do that is by having a strong competition field locally. Because I always refer to my athletes, I say, refer back to the first time somebody ran a 4-minute mile. Before that, nobody believed it could be done.
Yeah.
2 years after that, like 40 accidents. So that's where competition comes in. If the competition gets better, the lifters must improve. It's very simple. So where do you do it? To me, it doesn't matter. As long as we can do it.
Yeah.
And that's my take on politics.
And you and I have had this a similar conversation. We came to consensus because I've always felt like, for me, for instance, I honestly could not tell you precisely how many national championships I have, because I genuinely have not kept count, because I never thought of myself as being the national champion. It's somewhere in the ballpark of 4 or 5, but I couldn't tell you precisely because I genuinely haven't kept count. Because it never felt like
exactly my point.
It never felt like a win, you know?
Got, like, my biggest problem, and this is gonna come off as so offensive, but I mean no offense to anybody that competed or whatever, like absolutely none at all. It's just a perception thing, and I just got to understand that I'm talking about a certain level of competition, and at national level competition, it should be the highest your country has to offer. All right. Saying that, WPC national champion men, 67 kilograms last year, totaled around what Jay does. So that becomes, and I mean no offense, the guy lifted, he performed well, he got all his, I mean no offense, but the only way that we get better is by putting a very high standard on what we achieve on a national level. So while it's great that we've got a lot of lifters competing, somewhere along the line, we have to have some form of competition that just separates hobby lifters with guys that are really taking the sport really, really seriously. And that's what we try to achieve with RPC. We've got a lot of TV programs. I'm not the greatest politician, but, you know, my heart's in the right place. I mean, I am, you know, we all try.
I think one of the issues maybe we're having with that is that we don't have enough people who take it seriously. So if you do skew it too far one way, you end up with high-level national champs, but there's 5 of them. Versus if you open it up to everyone, you have 50 national champs, 5 of them are really good, 45 of them are average. So like we're in a difficult stage of our growth right now where you can't swing it too far either which way.
But then you've got to ask yourself the question: if I can win a national title without really trying, then what value does that title have for me? So, for example, yourself, if you're an elite level lifter, for you to win a national title, and for Joe Soap next door that pushes a go-kart for his kids deciding he's going to compete in a powerlifting competition, and he wins his national title, like what value did your effort hold if you guys have got the same title? Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like every single contest throughout the year, there's no problem. Everybody lets go large. But at one comp a year, you have to have certain competitive standard. It does matter. It does matter. And we're not going to get better if we don't do it. Like there's a lot of, I mean, there's millions of people in this country that play, right? There's 23 in the Springbok side. Are we just going to now say, no, well, you know what, we have to give little Kevin across the street a chance. He has to have a green jersey too. Right? Like, why do we have different standards for different sports? Do you follow? Like, I mean, if there's an answer for that, sure, go for it. But there's got to be levels of your standard. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, no, I completely hear you. And I want a world where I want eventually a world where we have it exactly the way you're saying. Like, I want us to be at that point where a national title, because like I said like 3 minutes ago, so I can't contradict myself. It's like, I don't count how many national titles I've won because I don't feel like they're worth the title. I can tell you exactly how many overall titles I've won. And even that one I don't count because I won it last year. And the only reason I won is because Colton didn't enter for the Open. He just entered as a junior. So I won by default behind him. So even then, I don't count that one. So it's like I'm exactly the same way. If I don't feel like I had to battle and fight and I've earned this accolade, I'm not going to consider it to myself. And I'm not going to mention it to anyone I'm talking to. Like, hey, did you know I'm the national champ? Like, yeah, you got a lot of people who posted on their social media, like national champion times whatever. I'm not someone who, I'm not going to brag about that because I don't feel like right now in this country right today, that title means as much as it should yet.
Yeah, look, for me, it's not like I want this perfect world where we got that. I just want to be able to keep working towards that. Like eventually, whether I do it or somebody else, eventually it will get me. However long it takes, it doesn't matter. But just to just give up, like for me, it's I can't do that. Like the sport has been very, very good to me on a personal level, and I've always tried to give back, and that is important to get that lifters where they start competing against each other again. That matters. Does matter.
Which is one of the reasons why I loved Elite Raw as a concept. I'm hoping everything works out like awesome for it towards the end of the year, because that one is like a legitimate, only the top ranked people are invited to it, and there's no prize for second place. It's either you won it or you didn't. So that to me, in a way where we're not in a position yet where there's a singular national champion or whatever. There is a singular Elite Raw winner. And that instantly, like, I love the concept. That already, like, that's more of the things like we need.
Look, I'm going to keep battling away with Elite Raw as best as I can. Like, I really want it to be a great success. I'm sure it can be. We definitely got the talent for it. I mean, we have got some really good talent. Yeah, there's a lot of up and comers. I do watch a lot of lifting. Young James, you can say what you want about the guy. He's going to be a strong guy one day, that's for sure.
He's looking very dangerous at a very young age.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a strong guy. So there's a lot of talent in the pipeline. There's what's his Johan Westhuizen?
Yeah,
very very strong guy. Also young. So there's definitely a lot of talent, and the only way we're going to cultivate it is by giving these guys a platform to compete against the best of the best. It's as simple as that. If they show up to a comp and they're just going to walk over everybody and win all the time, why would you care? Like, why would you? You know?
100%. In fact, I was watching a little TikTok of, I don't know the lifters, they're from a different country or whatever. They're not that good. But I was loving the fact that it was a three-way battle for the podium, and like who was on the podium, who was in which position on the podium, kept swapping out lift after lift. And I'm like, that's what makes, because powerlifting, let's be honest, is one of the most boring spectator sports that you can have. It is a 9-hour competition where there's 3 variations in movement. It gets very boring to watch.
I love the sport, and I cannot watch an entire comp.
I can do it in person.
I get to comps where a guy comes to me and says, "You remember my 220 squat from this and this comp?" Like, no, I really don't. I'm sorry, but I absolutely don't. Like, I'm happy you're happy, but I don't remember how good you were, man.
It baffles me, Pete. I like Sipo is really good with stuff like that. Also, like Nicole is really good with stuff like that. I don't even remember my own attempts from previous comps. I'm never gonna remember yours. Like, I don't care that much. I don't care that much.
The only ones I literally remember are the ones I got injured with.
But anyway, back to the point. Back to the point.
Funny enough, 160 kilos has injured me more than any other weight.
But like, so this particular comp I found interesting. One, it was a summary, so it was quick. But like, what I loved about it is this bench press. This guy did his bench press. Okay, now he's in the lead subtotal. Next guy did his bench press. Now he's in the lead. And like with each attempt, the podium was switching. And I'm like, that kind of competitiveness is what I would love to see here, because now it's normally like, you tell me who's going to the meet, I'm going to tell you who first, second, and third is before they lift a single thing. Unless one of them catastrophically stuffs up, you already know the result.
But what we achieved with nationals last year is exactly that. So Francois Theron, with that massive deadlift, entered nationals last year.
Yeah.
He did not win best lifter. Best lifter came down to him passing his last deadlift. There were 3 guys in the running for best lifter. Was it 100 kilogram lifter, a 90 kilogram lifter, and him. If he pulled his last deadlift, he would have won best lifter. If with a 100 kilogram lifter pulled his last deadlift, he would have won best lifter.
That's what's
the guy that won it had to pull his last deadlift to win best lifter.
Yeah.
So it is achievable. It is doable. But like I said, at the end of the day, not everybody's always on board with what we want to do. But the result, like that comp, like even though the titles weren't massive or whatever, the competitive nature is what we were after. And we got exactly that. We got exactly that. The other comps that we got, we had, I mean, Badger Classic, there was like, what, 10, 11, 12 oaks in one division. And they were all decently strong. You know how competitive that becomes. And everybody's like, I got you. So it can be done. But we need to, somewhere along the line, bury the politics and try and do better with the sport. And whether people see it or not, I take great pride in taking the lifters that I coach to WPC comps to support the lifting. I take them there especially for that, not to have a go at anybody, whatever, support the lifting. Because we're all one big dysfunctional family.
It's no matter what federation you lift in, you are the only other person who understands what it's like to squat, bench, and deadlift. Versus the 60 million in the country who have no fucking clue what that means. I know you at least understand this, no matter what federation you live for.
I don't care, so
find down. There's a question here that posed. So are the organizers of Elite Raw still eligible to compete in Elite Raw? And how are you managing that?
Look, at the end of the day, we want to get like the best of the best lifters on there. I actually had a long conversation with a lot of people. Like, when we pick lifters, people got to understand, first off, we're human beings. So we don't always find everybody. If you think your title is good enough, just pop me an email or a message. Like, you're on social media all day long. Just send me something that I can look. You never know. It's for that same reason that I found like one of the WPC lifters actually totaled a lot more than I did at a lower body weight. So I extracted myself, and he will take my place because he's better than me. It's very simple. But like, it's difficult to see, especially with masters, because of the different age groups on open powerlifting, and we're not using like a coefficient, who's who and who goes where. So mistakes do creep in. But yeah, if you're good enough as an organizer, you can compete. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Like, what difference is it going to make? I've got 3 referees. Like, are we gonna bribe referees at a powerlifting comp?
There are some people who would suggest that something along those lines happens to certain competitions.
I'm too off the cards for that, man. Like, show up and do your best and win.
Okay. There was one more question I was really keen on asking you. But so far, like, so in terms of the rest of the year, like, what are some of the overarching plans for Badger?
Well, for Badger, it's just to make my Badgers the greatest ever. No, I'm kidding. My Badgers have got a couple of comps lined up they're competing at. Like, we definitely supporting underdogs quite vehemently, if that's a good word. And then I've got a couple of other comp ideas that I'm still kind of working on that kind of deviate off powerlifting, but kind of go towards Badger's spirit. And like, any guy that has ever attended a Badger session will tell you that these guys work. Like, there's some serious training going on in there. And I've got a very low tolerance for fucking around in the gym. Like, if you want to come here and play, rather leave, because you're wasting my time. So what we want to do is actually want to have a day. I want to raise some money for somebody involved in a gender-based violence case, like a woman or whatever, that we can pay a lawyer or whatever the case might be. But I want to have like an extreme training day. Invite people, we pay a bit of an entrance fee, whatever, and then we have like a record for deadlifts or fucking huge drop set with a whatever. Like, I'll figure it out. But essentially the whole day, a really, really intense training session, any and all welcome, no body weights, pure bragging rights, with a concept of raising some money for somebody that really needs it. Especially like, awesome. I've got like a soft spot for gender-based violence. Like, nobody's looking out for everybody. So that's the idea. Be a good idea. But yeah, I think it's going to be better.
And for not to turn a serious issue into a publicity stunt, but I feel like powerlifting, getting involved in causes bigger than just powerlifting, is part of the way that we do build awareness to the sport, as a byproduct. I feel like most people in the world, but locally most South Africans don't give a shit about powerlifting, but like mostly because they've never even heard it exists. Just getting the sport's name out there in these different facets, I think is gonna benefit the people we're trying to raise awareness for, but ourselves as well.
Of course. I've also got some interesting concepts, with a with a comp I want to do. Still kind of ironing out what I want to do with it, but bodybuilder versus strongman versus powerlifter.
Yes.
Some strength versus. It's going to be a lot of fun too, I think. But yeah, I want to have a bit of fun this year and see how it goes. Like, we had very good reception at Swartkorp Raceway last year, so I want to see if we can have something similar, like an extreme comp like that at Swartkorp Raceway with the bikes and the vibe and all stuff. I want to see if we can.
That'd be sick,
looking
man.
forward to it.
What was that? There was a YouTube channel back in the day that did Strength Wars or something. They had that concept of people going head to head. That was like maybe like, that was back when I was in varsity, maybe like 8 years ago.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I loved that show. Like the faceless. What was his name?
What was his name? Yes, but like something like that, man.
Yeah, he was just absolutely unbeatable. Like, absolutely fucking unbeatable.
Oh, dude. Oh, you just give me that nostalgia now. It takes me back to the day. That was sick, Martin. Listen, it's been absolutely awesome having you in the show. Really appreciate your time and being so candid and open. I would love to have you back. Maybe like to when Elite Raw is a little bit closer, get you back on, and we can like build some hype towards that and see what the overarching plans are moving forward.
100%. And like, I just want to say, like, while we're at it, we're probably going to put out the announcement at any time. It's already out there, really. Like, Elite Raw, the lineup is still open for consideration for anybody this year still. So everybody's still competing, whatever. There is still an opportunity. It's not dead set. Give it a go. It's going to be in November. We're going to move it to Cape Town by the sea. Let's have a bit of fun.
Hey, I might just pop in. I might be broken by then. No. I just realized I'm only heading for my first comp now, so I might have I have this thing, man. I can compete, like, and when I did Elite Raw last year, I learned the hard way. I have 2 comps in me max a year. After that, I fucking hell, my body breaks.
But it's actually like it's the right way to compete. Like, we always used to say, you're only strong twice a year. You're strong when you need to qualify for Worlds at Nationals, and then you're strong at Worlds. To try and do any more than that is usually a bit hard on your body, especially for guys using a little bit of the sauce and that kind of thing. Like, you put a lot of pressure on your body. You put a lot of pressure on your body. So twice a year is plenty. So yeah, I'm struggling to get to one. Like, I'm at my absolute strongest 4 weeks after my comp, and I absolutely crashed and burned, like, with some injury or something stupid. And that's why, like, even underdogs, I decided I'm not even competing, because I hate competing and I'm not at my best. And I haven't been at my best on a comp floor for 4 years. Always just show up with something mediocre, and it's really annoying. So
yeah, I'm also like, every time I do compete more than twice, it's I have 2 on the dot, pretty much perfect meets, and then the other 2 tend to be pretty shitty. So I'm like, I need to dial this. I need to figure out a formula. Where I'm only trying to peak twice, because I call my body physically cannot do it more than twice.
I'm at a point where I'm trying to figure out how just to get there fit. Like, and I've thought of absolutely everything. And like when, if I take a look at the successes of my lifters, whatever, I'm not an idiot, but I'm still not finding that happy balance. So I'll figure it out at some point.
What I did, I was like, listen, that's the exact reason I got a coach. And I was like, listen, I think I'm too close to it. I need someone from the outside who isn't connected to my feelings to figure it out for me. Because if I thought about it, if I let my athletes do what they wanted to do and what they thought was smart, they would completely fuck themselves over. So I was like, maybe I'm doing that and I don't notice. Let me just outsource this.
It's a valid point. It's a valid point. I put that on the to-do list and maybe rethink my approach.
Maybe let Jade get some revenge on you. I'd be like, listen, just give her the reins.
I do not think this is a good idea. I do not think I should give any of my athletes the reins. I do not. I will voice this on a public forum. No one of my athletes is coaching me. Forget about it.
I'm just saying. You said you're not good at the social media thing. Just for a day, let Jade and Danielle program a sesh for you, record it. You have content for days right there.
I'm not gonna walk straight for a month. Woo. They've got a lot of pent-up aggression to coach,
Fucking brilliant, man. Listen, thanks so much for your time. Absolutely had a smash chatting to you. I'm looking forward to seeing you probably at the lead role. We'll see.
Definitely, but I'll be there solely as an organizer, not doing anything else. It'll be a nice time. We get something, obviously get something to eat, obviously, and then just chill, watch the lead role.
That's man. Absolutely love it. Shout out to everyone watching. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one.